introduce our next guest. This is Jovian. Hello. So she is going to be telling you all about her project, which is Diamond DAO?
Diversity.
Diversity, okay,
Yeah.
in the DAO space. All right, so everyone welcome Jovian.
Hey. Hello. I might want a chair. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure if this makes me feel like a stand-up comic, like standing, or if I want to sit. How does this work? Okay, green means great. I love it. Accessible tools. Oh, lovely. Okay, this is great. Yeah, I'm wondering if you would feel comfortable, but if you identify as female, would you feel comfortable just raising your hand so we can visually see how many of us are here? Okay. There's a little patch. There's 3. There's 1. I'm here. So if I count that really quick, boop, 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 we're at about 4%. Okay. Not good. Why? Why are there only us here? There are real reasons. The reason it's important to talk about the real reasons is because you can solve problems that you can identify. It's really hard to solve problems that you don't understand or you can't see. So my project is called Code Diverse Humanity into the DAO Ecosystem. I renamed this like 6 times this morning, not sure what to call it. No, I do research. So I'm the co-founder of Diamond DAO. We're building analytics for the DAO ecosystem. I'm also a previous community operations engineer for DAOs. I've been working in the DAO ecosystem like with my hands and heart and mind for over a year. I'm a community engineer. I actually take the tools and bring them to the people, and the people back to the tools, and we see what works and what doesn't. So saying the word DAO is like saying it has no meaning. So unless you work in a DAO and unless you experience what the future of work is like and contribute to it, you don't really know what a DAO is. I encourage everyone to try joining a DAO, starting a DAO. See me after. I can point you to fun DAOs that you should be a part of. So Gitcoin and Bankless reports that this is how many people were female who took their survey. This is a very small survey. Yeah, it's just hard. It's just really hard. It's not a diverse space at all. It's mostly males. It's mostly white males with technical backgrounds from 20 to 40 years old. So why is it a problem that it's such a monoculture? Well, because diverse perspectives increases the range of options for how people model problems and how people suggest solutions. So our collective intelligence goes way up when we have more diverse perspectives at the table. Science proves this over and over again. So what DAOs are doing, which is difficult, and I don't mean the tools, I mean the people who work in the DAOs, is they're learning how to build consensus with other human beings and how to get work done. This is not a top-down hierarchical system where someone was given trust, put at the top, and they make a bunch of decisions for everyone else to fall in line. This is people standing across the table and having to organize and coordinate. It's challenging, it's scary, it's chaotic, but we are going to make significant progress towards equality by going through this work right now in DAOs. The problem is DAOs aren't diverse yet. Mapping the problem area. I'm going to map the problem area, and I'm going to spend a couple of 30 seconds per slide. Let's do this. Shout out to the person who talked about privacy. Your talk was really great and was good priming for me to actually dive into content while on stage. Barriers to entry. So there's barriers to entry to any industry, to any job, any workplace. There's barriers to entry to DAOs that affect some people more than others. So for instance, this stage does not have a ramp. That means that no person who needs a ramp can get on the stage. In the DAO space, the biggest, the steepest barrier to entry is the transition, the unpaid transition into the DAO space. You have to learn tools, you have to learn new languages, you have to work. When are you gonna do that? Nights and weekends? You gonna take a sabbatical? You gonna tell your kids, I'm not making dinner tonight? So who's actually able to take this on? Who's able to take on all this extra study? Young, white males, unmarried, 20 to 40. So that's who we're getting in the space. That unpaid transition is a huge barrier, an unsurmountable barrier for many women, for almost everyone with children. So just think about that. That's how barriers work. And once we can identify problems, we can solve them. So that's why we point them out. Because once we know that this excludes people, we can solve it, instead of just building stairs over and over and over again. Cultural formation of an in-crowd. The funniest thing is, as soon as you get into a group that you wanted to get into, your mindset flips completely, and you're like, everybody else shouldn't get in because, I'm cool now. It just happened earlier. I got allowed to use the VIP staircase to go send my slides. As soon as I was on the staircase, someone was like, oh, what's up there? And I was like, oh, no, it's for VIPs. Because psychologically, we do that. We get the thing, we take it, and we go. And that's what happens with an in-crowd. You get into Harvard, you're like, ha, 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 I'm in Harvard. This is what happens. So what we have to do is we have to remember we have this desire to do this. It feels really good to get access to something we didn't have access before. We need to realize, self-aware, that this is okay, this is natural, this is human. So how can you overcome that? Strategy. Have onboardings on a seasonal basis only. So enjoy your in-crowd, enjoy your season, do your team spirit, have your offsite, be the best cohort ever, but then go back and let more people in the next season, and let them in, let them enjoy coming in, and be good stewards, lift other people up, become a mentor. Don't become like this. I want to be at the top, I have to stay here forever. Preference for fast consensus. Okay, another reason, this is a big one. This one is very active, especially in DAOs, especially every single place in the world, is that why do we not have more diverse decision-making groups? Because decision-making where there's lots of different points of view, and maybe even different schemas, different terminology, different backgrounds, different technical skills, it takes longer, it's harder to rectify the differences in perspectives and to build that new perspective. It takes longer, and it takes skills that we don't work on. We work on our public speaking skills. We don't work on our active listening skills. Those are more important. Because you're only one person in the world, but you're gonna interact with thousands of people. And if you're a leader, you're gonna be lifting up thousands of people. So you need to work on active listening. Because we have a preference for fast consensus, we find it's really fun and easy to just get together with 3 stakeholders and be like, this is good, this isn't good, let's do that. They're in, they're out. But you know what? We're making decisions that fit this limited group, that's the in-group, their definitions of success. And we're not seeing the possibilities that we're not capable of seeing because the other perspectives are missing from the panel. So fast consensus, and also our obsession with efficiency and our obsession with speed and output makes it really difficult to design for diversity. So when you see that you are rushing, or when you see you are defaulting to the same 2 stakeholders to make all the decisions, remind yourself that it might be time to bode up on your consensus skills. That's one of the things that DAOs give us, are consensus tools, consensus strategies that we can practice and that we can work on our communication, our listening, and making sure more voices are heard and end up in the end result. Unconscious bias. I need to go faster. Limited definitions of success. Lack of accountability. Another thing, it's a new field. We don't have a very good accountability. So I just did a quick count of this room, but we don't really know who's here and who's not. We don't have standard HR in DAOs. People just come in, they go out. We don't see how much people are making, how much they're not making. So the problem is people who have a difficult time negotiating for themselves because they're carrying, their social conditioning that's telling them to be smaller, to not rock the boat, they're actually getting paid so much less. So what we think is a pay gap, well, what we have measured is a usually 20% pay gap between men and women. And when it's analyzed, it can be aggressively adjusted for. It usually gets between down to 5%. But in the DAO space, we have an unrecorded, completely unadjusted, unknown pay gap. I'm scared to look at it, but I also really want to know. Diversity makes us personally uncomfortable. If you're like one of these people who is not yet ready to admit that you feel uncomfortable with your diverse brothers and sisters, I'm here to just push you forward on your journey and say it's okay. We are uncomfortable with diversity at times, personally, we are. So all those problems leads to more of this. Truth is hard, but you can change what you can see. This is the break for you to okay, we're gonna get to solutions. Implement solutions across the ecosystem. Okay, design people accessible on-ramps. So we talked about that a little bit before. Here's another example of it that I've found in the DAO ecosystem that's dope. They're a shining light. Meta Gamma Delta. Meta Gamma Delta is a women empowerment DAO. It's extremely effective at onboarding women into the DAO ecosystem. Why is it effective? It's built for women. It's built, it is so effective. Here are things about it that are a little bit different. How do you onboard? The first thing you do is you come to this really fun, interactive call with a bunch of women. Other DAOs, you have to submit a form, then you have to submit your GitHub, then you have to download a meme, then you have to create a meme, then you have to do this other thing, then you have to get MetaMask, then you have to get Matic, and then you have, well, yes, there are technical steps. This is not a non-technical DAO. There are technical steps, but it starts with human connection, it starts with support, and representation. So people go where they feel represented, and women will not go if they don't see a single other woman. Only crazy women like me will go. So Meta Gamma Delta is massively successful at onboarding and empowering women. So not only do they onboard them, they get them in, they support them, but they encourage the shit out of them. Did you know that women are less confident than men? They are less confident on the inside than men. This has been studied by social behavioral psychologists. That means that that something that works with them, that helps them actually be more effective, is positive reinforcement, positive encouragement, extra compliments, extra rewards, extra cookies, it actually makes a difference in their performance. They get what they need at Meta Gamma Delta. I could say so much more about this. Okay, create accountability systems. Okay, so I'm working on this with Diamond DAO. Diamond DAO is building analytics for DAOs. We're building dashboards that are measuring community health metrics, contributor experience. Thank you. Diamond DAO, aiming to be the glass door for DAOs, add some visibility into what it's like to work in a DAO and how we can succeed. And yeah, we're doing stuff similar to the privacy person, thinking about what responsibility we have, because we can put together stories about the lives of our contributors based on all of the traces of them across the blockchain. But what stories ethically will have a positive impact and empower and bring more people into the DAO ecosystem? Keep studying down to, yep, okay. So when you look at new DAO tooling, instead of just being like, oh, cool DAO tooling, like make sure it's there for a reason. Is it helping the DAO ecosystem become more accessible? Also, can they please analyze who is being helped the most by their tooling? Because we continue to build solutions that serve a narrow group. I'm almost done. I need 1 extra minute. Continuously invite people in. We talked about that. Oh, last 2 slides. Okay, the biggest part about making an impact in making DAOs more diverse is practicing compassion for yourself as you grow up and become more self-aware. Yeah. The more people we activate, the richer the world becomes. I don't focus on making money because people are an endless well of value. And the more people that you not only invite in, but continue to support and empower, and you see them unlock, and you see them reach their potential, and it goes beyond what they ever thought was possible, especially people who are generally excluded and marginalized, you see all of that value dump and unleash into the ecosystem. And that's really what I want to see in the DAO future of work. Thank you.